This camera normally looks like this, but I was able to change it because I brought a Powergrade that allowed me to make a custom LUT and apply that to the camera in OBS. So basically in OBS, I was able to apply a custom LUT and change this camera that's actually a 13-year-old camera and make it look much, much nicer in my opinion. So I made the custom LUT here and I can break down how I made it. Basically, I brought a LUT pack from a guy who makes LUTs for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. So in this folder here, you can see the LUTs for the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. He made it for Gen 5 color science and Gen 4. The camera I'm using, well, using right now and was using in this camera test is the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 2.5K. A lot of people were telling, well, not telling me, but online, a lot of people say this camera looks really good. You know, it's got a really nice filmic quality to it. But, you know, when I converted the Gen 1 color science to Gen 4, and then I added the Alexa LUT, you know, it looks like this, which has a nice quality to it. You know, I mean, the green shadows are kind of weird, but I'm kind of like, it's kind of cool. It reminds me a bit of like, you know, like stuff shot on like David Fincher type films. You know, it's got a certain quality to it. I'm like, it's cool, but I didn't really want that. So not only did I buy these LUTs, I brought the Powergrade behind the LUTs as well, which is basically just a node tree. So in the Powergrade, it comes with just like, ooh, like 3 nodes basically. So just like 3 nodes, and then you can add whatever you want. So because the LUT is expecting Gen 4 color science, it's important to give it the right, you know, give the LUT the color science it's expecting. So I converted Gen 1 to Gen 4, and like honestly, that looks better already. Just like converting it to Gen 4 just looks better already. More what I'm used to, because I shoot a lot on the Pocket 4K, and then boom, bring the LUT in. It's a bit extreme. To be honest, thinking about it now, I could have literally just turned the LUT down. Oh no. I mean, I potentially made more work for myself. Potentially. Wow, okay. Um, wow. So that's insane. Uh, that's interesting. But anyway, I'll show you how I did it. But I could have just, if I thought the LUT was too intense, I literally could have just brought it down, and it would have been fine. That's crazy. Anyway, I just made I didn't label the nodes. I probably should have. I didn't. So this one's just saturation, HSV, just bringing it down a bit. I like to use HSV. Actually no, this is a color slice, so this is more bringing down the skin, and then this was HSV. As you can tell, I can't remember. I like, you know, as you know, if anyone knows what HSV is, basically it stands for hue saturation value, and basically you can disable the hue channel and the value channel and just have channel 3, which is saturation, because HSV stands for like 3 channels, and the second channel is saturation. So since the second channel is saturation, this gamma thing becomes the saturation, and also the green channel here in the RGB thingy. So you can turn down the saturation in like the mid highlights a bit, like what I've done here, and it gave it just a nicer roll off to the saturation, if that's the right term. And then this was just for the skin, cause I was like, the skin needs work. And then this is more, these ones were more for like the shadows and that. It looks like too faded right now. It might look too faded on here, but it's actually not. Wait, let me. Yeah, it may look too faded on here, but I don't know what it is, man. By the time you bring it into OBS, it 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 doesn't, you know, it looks more contrasty. The shadows look more crushed, which isn't the look I'm going for, especially on a cinema camera. Like, it's just not what you want. Do you know what I mean? I'm replacing this camera with a Lumix G7, so naturally I just don't want it to look, too crushed. But the LUT I'm using now actually isn't even this one. As you can see, version 2. Click on that. And I did something quite different with this test footage. I actually overexposed it. Just a rough overexposure. So you can see that I'm a bit not overexposed, but brighter than somebody would typically film black skin. Do you know what I mean? So if I show you on the false color, like normally black skin's hitting like green, I'm hitting like the pink, or I'm hitting like 50, whereas normally people expose black skin for like 40. There's about a stop over, and I brought it down in this note. Oh, see, so that's the actual clip. So we're not clipping, but we're definitely not exposing like normal, but we're not like clipping. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. This is like the limit. You get what I'm saying? Bring it down. The shadows are still there, and I did that because they say on this camera, it says it, like, people say it's not very good in low light. So one way to get around it is, having a fast lens, so you can let in more natural light hit your sensor. Another way is just adding more light. So I've done that here. Literally, without this light, you you can't see anything, which is interesting. But also what I've done is like overexpose a little bit and then bring it down, and then bring the image down, so I'm like squashing the noise floor a bit. You know what I'm saying? How do I explain this? How do I explain this? How do I explain this? So you see this thing here, the scopes. If I didn't have a clean image, like for example this one, because the images are clean, my demonstration isn't actually gonna work. But essentially, normally down here, if you have a noisy image, there's a lot of noise over here. So naturally, if you bring the image down, you're like squashing the noise a bit. You're bringing down the noise a bit. You're making the noise a bit darker. So naturally, it's gonna be a cleaner image by the time that's done. And I'm essentially doing that live with this camera. So I think before I wasn't really happy with this camera because I was seeing a lot of chroma noise. Not even luma noise, chroma noise. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's the type of noise where when a lot of people think of a noisy image, they think of grain, but and another word for that is noise. But there's another type of noise as well, which is where you might just see like blocks of different colors in the image, like a color pattern that goes over and over again. I don't know how to explain it. You may just have to Google it. But honestly, now I can't really see any chroma noise in the image. The green tint that I guess might be coming from the LED. I'm using an aperture LED, so it should be accurate, but You know, it's an old camera, it might be like really sensitive, I don't know. But I'm not seeing the chroma noise anymore. The like I'm shooting at ISO 800. There's still noise, but it's not distracting. It's fine. It's okay. You know what I mean? So I just want to encourage you guys. If you're buying a LUT and there's an option to buy the power grade underneath the LUT, and you're into really customizing your look, definitely do it, because this camera, let me just show you how it looks without the LUT again, just to remind you. Even if you don't like the look right now, it still could do with a bit of fine tuning, but I'm happy with where we've landed considering this is how the camera normally looks. I see a lot of people reviewing this camera and they say, you know, the sensor's really nice, it gives a classic look, and they say it looks like an Area Alexa, stuff like that. But uh, they're probably talking about after they've color graded it, because right now it's not looking good. And in the white balance setting, there's no tint setting, so you can't like change the CC, the tint. So if you do have a little bit of green, like you can clearly see in the background, there's clearly a bit of green in there that needs to be corrected by adding a bit of purple. I can't do that. But me being able to make my own LUT really gives me more control. I'm not sponsored by this guy, but I definitely want to put the guy who made the initial Alexa LUT in the description below. And there's many Alexa to Blackmagic to Alexa LUTs, but I picked his because he sells the power grade, the node tree behind the LUT as well, so it can help you learn, and also it can help you create more custom looks and make old cameras like this a lot more usable. So I do recommend it. A lot of people like this sensor, even the Blackmagic Pocket OG. So maybe this LUT might be good for you, even though it's designed for the pocket cameras. You can still convert the color space in DaVinci Resolve and kind of make it work. You've seen there's a bit of color issues, but you can correct it more or less, like you can see here. There's still a little bit I could do, but considering it looks quite good. There's a little bit of green in the shadows, but for a first, this is I did this today, so for a first attempt, I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, just putting that out there.